It is rare that a story so captivating rolls along that you just have to talk about it. Like the story of me fixing the wires underneath my desk. You see, yesterday I was supposed to record 2 videos for the main channel. Well, I did a lot of research and I prepped them to be recorded. They weren't actually recorded because I discovered that I had something called actually don't remember what it was called. A privacy panel, I think it was, but essentially it's this panel that goes across the back of your desk and hides all of the wires. So all I had to do was unplug every single wire at my desk, then drill into my desk with an actual drill and a wood screw into holes that were not there. Just drill the dang privacy panel into my desk and then rewire my entire desk and then push it back. But the good news is that now my entire desk is set up. Wire management and everything. I've got the mic sounding funky fresh. There's no static. There's no interference. I even have my PlayStation 5 set up to the stream setup. Everything works. I even have the damn controller. It's right here. Look at that. It's all plugged in and charging and ready to go. I got a controller plugged into my gaming PC just in case I need it for a game. You guys have been talking trash about me not having my wiring done. And granted, the background still looks like shit, but I am making progress, all right? It looks great. I used zip ties and Velcro zip ties to secure the wires going in different directions so that it would have the exact perfect aesthetic appeal. And it stands up and goes down like a standing desk should. Look, we took a major step on Sunday. We took a major step on Sunday, and I just needed to share it with you because I know you guys are really emotionally invested in my desk. We also took another major step on your Zealand updates, and I promise you we're going to get to this story because it is really cool. I started running again. I am running the New York Marathon in November. I decided to try and run a lap of Central Park this morning. I made my way to the park, and I promptly ran a third of it before stopping for the first of 4 different times to collect my breath and not throw up and pass out. Did manage to get around the park, feel like death. We go again tomorrow. But we are running. We're going to have to build, I am going to have to build myself back up to be able to run that marathon. But I'll keep you guys updated because I'm going to try and do mornings now. Or they're not mornings for most people. They're mornings for me, right? Pre-stream jaunt through the park. It's going to be wonderful. But the story today has a lot to do with whatever I talked about at the beginning, a story of absurdity, a story of triumph, a victory of the human spirit or something. But this story involves one of the most absurd single headlines that you will ever read. There is a team that is now in the top flight of Norway that is basically the attachment to a local YMCA in Oslo. Right, and whatever you think about the Norwegian league, the top flight is definitely fully professional. And at the top level of the top flight, they're sending clubs that are able to make European group stages. So the fact that a YMCA football team's rise to the Norwegian top flight is something that's making news immediately attracted my interest. And my first thought was, I want to go to this club and make a YouTube video about it. But first, we must admire them from afar. So this is a club that it's a sports branch of the local YMCA in Oslo. It has departments for association football, futsal, volleyball, track and field. Then they have to be specific here, like on the Wikipedia, because the Wikipedia starts talking about, the fact that it's just a sports branch of the YMCA. The football team currently plays in the Eliteserien. This is the top league in all of Norway. And the way they managed to do it is probably the most kumbaya, patient-sounding thing ever, because there's not a lot of money involved in this. Based off my understanding of the situation, they either just became professional upon entering the top flight, or they're still not a fully, in the traditional sense, a fully professional team. But the general manager, Tor Erik Stenberg, talks about what happened. We have learned year by year small changes to be more and more and more professional. They began by giving players amateur contracts, then moving training from evening to daytime, then focused on better marketing, and so on. This season, fortified with the funds to improve more than one aspect, they added a match analyst, expanded their medical department, and took the team abroad for a warm weather training camp, for the first time ever, of course. But the team's actually been close to this for a while. If you look this up, you'll find articles about them being close before. They finished 4th 8th, 5th, 4th in the second division before finally breaking through in the top 2 to get themselves into the Elite Series. The Guardian's article continues. They interviewed people that shed more of a light about how a YMCA club makes it all the way to the top division, because again, that sounds entirely unbelievable. And the Guardian article actually references more people that they interviewed. Jos Mosgaard, who's the manager, and he talks about, we are looking for people who understand human beings first, who understand that results are a product of how you treat people. I told you this was going to get crazy kumbaya here. Jos understands how to mix a group. This is Stenberg, the general manager, talking about the manager. To develop the people within the group, that's his main skill. And if you can build a group with a common understanding of how to play, how to behave, a group like that will die for each other and you will get better results. Like normally when I'm reading this sort of thing, right, you hear coaches and managers talk about this all of the time, or a director of football or an owner or whatever. They never mean it, and even less of the time they actually know what they're talking about. But I think it's very clear that if we're looking at a club that is actually managed to get all the way to the top flight of their national pyramid while being just an associated football club for the local YMCA, these people are in the very rare category where they aren't just saying all of these nice sounding words. They actually know how to do all of this stuff, how to value people, how to mix the group the right way. How many times do your managers and stuff talk about that? Like, oh, we just need the right chemistry in the locker room. We need to get the right guys in, then we're going to be able to make the right things happen. But how do you know how to find the right guys? You don't. Download Grindr, maybe. That's you got a shot at it, right? But you got to be able to get the right guys in. And not just say it, but actually do it. And they clearly know how to do it. But the kumbaya gets turned up to a completely different level. What I actually love this part for them. The Guardian article continues. Prospective signings know for sure that if they join KFUM, they will have a good time making friends. Follow the quote here. This is from the director of football, the general manager. But you will never be rich. So it attracts people who enjoy those things. And also, of course, we have developed many players now, so young players like and enjoy to come to us. So it's this twofold thing where they've built this reputation. Everybody knows that they're not the biggest money club, right? So if you're coming here for different reasons. You're coming here to be valued as a person. You're coming here to be part of a winning culture. You're coming here to play in a team ethos. Or you're coming here because you're a young player and you've watched other young players come through this system, develop and succeed, and you want to kind of achieve that same thing, but it's also setting expectations. This is like the opposite of Manchester United, right? This is hey, if you come here, we're actually not going to pay you a lot of money, but you'll be able to gain a lot of things that, hey, may help you gain more money in the future if that's what you want. If that's not what you want, right? I mean, who doesn't want more money, right? But if you're not trying to get oodles of ridiculous amounts of money, you can stay here and we will win here. We will have the right ethos. We will have the right people, and things are not going to get out of hand. And this shit is no joke, okay? Because if you look up the table right now, this team has more points than Rosenborg. That is a team that, if you pay attention to like football, right? Like I know Odd, I know Lillestrøm, I know Haugesund. I'm sure I'm not saying them right, but KFUM is ahead of all of them. After 11 matches in its first year in the top flight, it has only lost 2 of those 11 matches, right? And this is a team that, again, is attached to a local YMCA. Its stadium seats 3,000. And the picture that they have at the top of this Guardian article isn't a joke. When they walk out from the dressing room onto the field, they have to block the traffic. They literally walk across a crosswalk to get into the stadium. Okay, that is the type of club we're talking about here, that is just casually rolling out kumbaya and friendship and let's all do this together, and actually producing incredible results, which is a huge shot to the ego of all of those people that are like, you got to coach them hard, you got to play them hard, and not that doesn't work either, but apparently this works too. This honestly feels like a football manager save. Tell me, looking at this, it doesn't feel at least a little bit like a football manager save. But the key might be in this paragraph right here. It says, now treating people with kindness doesn't mean lowering standards. In Norway, we use a lot of excuses. I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have that. Said the manager. We are a small club, little resources, but everything is possible. Stop whining, just go to work and everything can be made. I love that. Stop whining. And look, we can do this if you just stop whining, right? If you stop talking about what you don't have and start talking about what you do have and what's possible. I mean, this is the sort of thing that you hear resound around different teams that are able to do things that are particularly surprising, whether that be an Iceland at the Euros. Sorry to bring that up again, England. But those types of teams where they shouldn't exist, but then they are able to do it anyways. Or even somebody like Jose Mourinho's Porto, the kind of why not us. focus on the fact that we can do it, not on the reasons that we can't sort of vibe. And it's been captured in a club-wide basis, right? This has gone through multiple managers. It talks about in this article, there's one manager, and then right when they feel like he's about to get poached because the team's being really successful, they bring in a new assistant who then he gets indoctrinated into the ethos of the club, and then he gets promoted to take over the club. That's where this Mosgard guy's come from in the first place. And unfortunately, for all of the people that embrace and love a classic 4-4-2, everything they talk about is actually an intense 3-4-3 short passing style. And even though this is a small club with a small club mentality that is focused on making the most of what they have, they actually believe, like Mosgard talks about, that they are a better team technically. We're very good at moving the ball around, passing, having short distances between our players so we can regain possession when we lose the ball. But when the other team has greater physique, that's when the challenge has started for us. I mean, it's the exact opposite of what you would think a lower league, smaller club would be, which is get stuck in, play hard defense. He's saying that their biggest issue comes when the other teams are too physical for them, but they are actually able to possess and control the tempo of the game. And again, all of this, if I didn't see the results popping up, like if you don't go to their Wikipedia page and watch them just climb up, they're in the 3rd division as far goes. 2008, they were in the 4th division of Norway. Now they are in the top division and still walking across the street to go to their matches. It's insane, right? It's the type of story that if it was happening not in Norway, people would be absolutely losing their minds about. And even though it's happening in Norway, people should be losing their minds about it, because go KFUM. I mean, what do they play the YMCA before every game? Because that would get me going. You know, you never walk alone on one side, the YMCA on the other. It works for me, dude. Seriously.